Good morning everybody, Ouronnj here with another War of the Visions video, and today we're talking about level 120 Xiza. Is it worth taking her from 99 to 120? 99, obviously everybody should do that thing for the TMR, but 120 is quite an investment. So is this unit, who a lot of us have ready to at least start the journey to 120, worth doing? It's not an easy yes or no. We're going to look at like all the parts of that equation right now. Okay, now before we dive like all the way into Xiza, I do want to say, if you want to support the channel, please consider using my Amazon coin affiliate link for all of your Vizior purchasing needs. Great way to support this channel, or you become a YouTube member, whatever. I appreciate everybody who supports me. Love you guys. Let's talk about Xiza. Okay. Now, here you see I have taken her to 120. I was like, there's no way I can really do a video about this unless I take her there and test her out. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised at how she performed at level 120. And the first thing I want to say is, if you're going to EX this unit, do not stop at like 115. She is not one of the units who's worth only taking to about 115 and quitting, because her best move, by far, is Debilitating Fist. This thing lowers the target's unit attack resist, so single target attack resist down for 3 turns, and then deals large damage. And it's striking damage. It's punching. I remember the word striking. I should win a reward. But this thing, like, I kid you guys not, I have one-shot more King Monts with this move than well, I don't really one-shot King Mont with very many other things. She walks out there and is like, Titus, eat your heart out, 10,000 damage, right? She'll just casually drop 9.5k hits on King Mont with this thing. This is the reason you take her to EX 120. You don't stop, with getting like pummel enhancement. Yeah, that's cool. It'll really destroy some light units, but if you're gonna invest in this girl, take her to here for Debilitating Fist. Okay, so that was my first thing. If you're going, go all the way, go hard. Now, I want to talk about Xiza's biggest weakness, in my opinion, that is not made up for in her EX jobs, and that is her TP abilities. Xiza really, really lacks for things to do with TP in order to generate AP and like kill people better. She basically needs to run either her bells or Uldoa's TMR in order to be effective, because she just doesn't have TP skills. Like, let's look at her main job abilities real quick. Okay, an attack, store. Now, this move in theory is insanely powerful, right? Significantly raises own unit's attack for 1 turn. If you can get her to like pop Uldoa's TMR on turn 1 and then store on turn 2, whatever she hits turn 3 is gonna die. Except that the AI just will use this about 50% of the time. It makes no sense. Like, she won't have another strength buff going on. Somehow the AI is like, buff only lasts for 1 turn. I'm probably not going to get in range to do anything next turn. So instead of casting store, I'm going to do nothing. And we're going to do some fights here in a minute, and I bet you end up seeing it in action. It boggles my mind, because this would be a perfect buff for her to use, because she is a very selfish unit. She's going to just gather power and go attack people with it. And this is such a good move for that, but she just won't use it. It's so frustrating. Okay. Chakra is a heal, so she's not going to use that in the early turns, and you don't want her like hugging it out with your tank. Purification, again, it's a debuff remover, so she's not going to use that. Revive, y'all know what Revive is. And then Debilitating Fist, that's her big attack. So her main job, you can see, really there's only store that you want her to use, and the AI really won't use it. If you go to her monk job, it's just 2 attacks. Now, they're both good. Terra Slash is a nice move because it gives her some AoE, which is another weakness of hers. This is really her only AoE. And then Surge Strike, which is a small damage ranged move that the AI will use to like clean up things. So you're like, okay, it's fine. We'll just go to like Thief and we'll get a TP ability from here. She has an evasion buff. And like, unless you're running evasion, you don't really want her buffing her evasion. I guess you could have her do it just for some AP. That seems kind of wasted. Steal Time, great for PvE. Steal Vision, again, great for PvE. And the AI will use this occasionally, but if you're here, if you're this close, you're in range to do damage, and then she's going to start doing damage instead. Steel Heart is really cool. There's some builds that revolve around Steel Heart Xiza, but again, the AI will prioritize doing damage. Steel Heart build is kind of cheesy. And then Snipe Dagger is a damaging move, so there's really nothing there except for evasion. And then Lancer does have Sharp Spear, so you can have her use this, and a lot of times my setup for Xiza goes Lancer sub abilities. But the problem there is you lose her only AoE ability. So her lack of TP abilities, especially in her main job, are crippling to her. And that's my biggest drawback to her. Now, this isn't like a full character review, so I'm just kind of, that was just me giving you the strengths and weaknesses. I really do like to run Fist Counter, just let her punch some stuff. The rest of these aren't super good. Thief Lore, yeah, you love move +1 and agility up. Lets her get in range and kill things. Iron Fist Mastery, strike attack up and defense piercing rate. You'll want this one, because strike attack, really hard to come by in this game. Defense piercing rate, this girl's job is to one-punch things. She is the one-punch woman, and you're going to want that defense piercing to do that. The rest of her options here, like, just aren't super good. Pierce Mastery if you want to mix in some piercing damage, and then acquired AP up, but you're going to run an AP generation item on her anyway, because she struggles with those TP skills, so you need the item, the AP generation item, to supplement that. Okay, that's all for there. Let's go ahead and throw it into a fight. Before we do any more like theory crafting stuff, let's see some action. Okay, here's a real spicy team I threw together. It's King Mont running as my tank, and then we're running like the Dark Punching duo. I was going to say bros, but it's a man and a woman, whatever. The Dark Punching duo. It's Garvel and Xiza. Now, Garvel scales with magic, obviously. Xiza scales with physical attack. It doesn't matter. The focus of our damage here comes from dark attack up. We'll look at vision cards, we'll look at Espers after this fight, but I want you to see like how Xiza actually performs. Now, importantly, I do not ever put her across from Yuna. Like, Yuna can just drop those massive magic bombs on Xiza with Holy and stuff, and Xiza's not really strong against magic, so I don't really, not a fan of getting Holy. I'll put her across from either King Mont, who is her primary target for me, or like the melee DPS, like Gilgamesh or something. So in this case, it's Gilgamesh. Watch this damage. She walks up to him, 10,000 damage, debilitating fist. Gilgamesh melts at the sight of Xiza. She is a one-punch master. Now, Garvel's, actually, he's still alive, and so he's going to kill Yuna. That's great. Oh man, I'd really love Xiza to get to kill this King Mont, but our Mont's going to take him out for us. Cool, doesn't matter. That was a good... Oh, wait. We're going to get to see the Xiza action, y'all. She's going to move into range. 10,000 damage. That was a 10,000 damage debilitating fist to both King Mont and Gilgamesh. One punch girl. This girl crushes things with her fists. Now, like, am I in top 1,000 arena? No, not right now. That was still a King Mont, a Gilgamesh, and a Yuna. Okay. Let's look at this build a little bit closely, and I'm going to tell you how I get her damage exactly that high. I don't focus on strike attack at all. It's really hard to buff strike attack in this game, like I was saying. She does have the +5 Kaiser Knuckle, so she does get strike attack from there, and 180 attack. That's really important. But for vision cards and Espers, my favorite vision card for Xiza is Esper. My favorite Esper for Xiza is Omega. Check out the buffs that Omega gives. Now, I go all the way to Dark Attack plus 10%. So this is a big investment in Omega's points, but when you get to here, you're getting 25 Dark Attack up. That is amazing for her, and it doesn't matter like what type of skill she's using. It could be Strike, it could be Pierce. She has both of those in her kit. Dark Attack up just helps her a lot. You also get 20 dark or just regular attack up right here, right? That's 20. Yeah, 20. Attack percent up. Then you can get magic resist. I mentioned Xiza not very good against magic. Hey, you can supplement that with the magic resist from Omega, and then you're kind of at this janky point where you have extra points left to spend. I like to get accuracy because Xiza doesn't have like a 100% hit thing, so some accuracy helps her out. Then, drop a point into Light Eater. you're really kind of out of stuff at this point. But this helps her be more DPS, right? More one-punch girl with all of these buffs over here. Plus, it helps her live through Yuna and other mages by picking up some light resist and magic resist. By far, my favorite Esper for Xiza, and when Omega came out, is when I started considering 120ing Xiza. Vision card-wise, I really like to run Diablos on Xiza for the same reasons, right? Dark attack up, so good for her whole kit, plus dark unit light attack resist up. So we're getting even more light resistance. This is going to keep Yuna from one-shotting her, which I love. Then she also gets more dark attack from the bestowed ability and 164 actual attack from the card. It's all about one-punching things with her. If she can do that, you're going to succeed. If you build a group around Xiza and she one-punch, 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 she can solo carry a group. I like to run her more with another DPS, like Garvel or something, to supplement her damage. But those are my favorite Vision Card and Esper combos for. Now, I do want to point out, I am running Dwayne's Vision Card on King Mont. This is going to give another attack percent up to the group. That's another way of helping Xiza one-punch things. It's also going to give magic attack resist to the group and dark unit pierce attack resist up. So those are all good for her. And then I just have slash resist from Solidus on Garvel. So that's this group. That's this build. We can go look at some other Espers and Vision Cards that would be good for her next. All right, let's start in here with Espers. Behemoth is the most obvious next best Esper, in my opinion. His training board is a lot like Omega's. In fact, I would say Behemoth is like Omega Light. You would want to get, again, the Dark Attack, which you'll just automatically get the attack up on the way there. There's also Light Eater in here. There is Strike Resist, in case you run into some other strike units. And there's Light Resist. So not as good, but you see there's Attack, there's Light Eater, there's Dark Attack, and there's Light Resistance. All great for Xiza. This is a good Esper option. Those words got combobulated in my brain. So Behemoth, a good choice. I also use Golem sometimes. Now Golem is a slightly more defensive choice. It turns her into a little bit more of a bruiser, but it gives defense up and it gives Man-Eater. So you can see this Man-Eater right here. Man-Eater, another way of boosting strike attack without having to go get strike attack. Man-Eater just helps you kill other people, so cool. Golem is a decent option for her. Not my favorite, but it's something that I've used in the past. Then you can always use like Tetrasilphid if you're going for an evasion build. I do not run evasion Xiza. It's probably fine. There's a ton of evasion here to get, but like, what else are you getting from this Esper? Nothing really. So I don't love it. In fact, Xiza, in my opinion, is not a great evade unit. She can do it. She can be an evade unit, just not my favorite role to put her in. I really like to amplify her damage, go for those one punches. Another option for you. She has 2 damage types in her kit, one of which is piercing damage. You can run her Sub Lancer and give her the option of doing piercing damage. In that case, a high DPS Esper like Ifrit with access to pierce damage up, not a bad choice. And then you can never go wrong with just doing Odin and getting Man-Eater and just being fast. Odin, always an okay choice for Espers. Now, Vision Cards is a little more tricky, right? There's so many Espers and Vision Cards in this game at this point that the perfect combination can be kind of hard to find. We've talked about Diablos already. So Omega is a really good Esper for her, but how about the Vision Card? I don't think it is, right? Like, these aren't bad right here. The limited bestowed effects for dark units. She would get agility, light attack resistance, and HP up. Makes you more of a bruiser, really. And then the party ability is HP up, slash attack up, which she doesn't really want, and then magic resist. So not terrible, but I prefer this on a different unit in her group because I don't love this bestowed effect for her, but a good card to run alongside her. And she does have some slash attacks in her kit. So if you randomly run into somebody who's just stacking strike resistance because they found it in like the next dimension, that could help her with some slash attacks. Other than that, I think there's a couple interesting ones here. You could go for something like Odin. Now, Odin is just going to give her more Maneater. So maybe if you're going down that, like, I want to be more of a bruiser Xiza, and I'm going to use Golem as my Esper, you could throw Odin on there as her vision card, get more Maneater, get unit attack resist up. Okay. It also gives her the attack. She'll still hit really hard with that combo of vision card and Esper. You could throw Titan on somebody in the group. I don't know if it's good on her. It would boost her piercing attack, which again, she does have access to. She's not one of these units. She does not get this 30% attack up, but it does give her more Maneater. Not bad. Not a bad card for her at all if it's something that you have and you're kind of lacking other options. But again, my absolute favorite is Diablos. I think this just makes her a one-punch machine, and it really runs well with a mixed damage dark group. I'm looking at you, Black Rose of the battlefield, Helena. When you come out, if you're pairing Xiza and her, I think this is your card for Xiza, and then you let Mama Helena use whatever card she wants to use. So, okay, there's my quick vision card breakdown. Let's put another team together, hit the arena again, and see how Xiza functions the second time. Okay, check out this spicy all dark team. It's similar to the last team I ran with King Mont, but we've put in Dwayne to get more HP for Xiza and to get more dark attack buff for her, so her damage is even more unlocked. Now she's running the exact same stuff, but check out her stats in this group. 5200 HP, 103 agility, and 1060 attack. She's going to be fast, she's going to hit hard, and hopefully she's not going to get one shot by whatever the enemy's throwing at us. You can see we've got Black Rose of the battlefield in here to get her that more agility. Then we're still running Omega's vision card, and she's running her favorite Esper. Now, we need to pick a fight here. I don't really want to fight a Yuna, because Yuna is very scary for Xiza, and I would like to find a team with their tank straight across. Doesn't look like that's going to happen. So instead, here's a Lucia 2B 9S team. This might give us a chance to show off some more of Xiza's strength while also talking about her weaknesses. One thing I want to bring up straight away, I think you need to run a tank alongside Xiza. She doesn't have incredibly low HP, but she's not a tank, and I wouldn't even call her a true bruiser. She really does need somebody, whether it's Dwayne or King Mont, Warrior of Light, whatever, to pull aggro away from her, or she can find herself in a lot of trouble. And if you're building a team where you're counting on Xiza one-punching things, and she gets one-punched instead, obviously you're just in a lot of trouble. Now we're getting a little unlucky early here with a reflex from Lucia, and 2B is dodging. This is another one of Xiza's weaknesses. She doesn't have that 100% hit ability, so her damage is a little bit unreliable. What can she do here to 9S? One-shot him. Very good. That's what we need. Now, can Garvel get his revenge on Lucia? We'll find out, but Xiza's a little low, and 2B exists. Okay, Lucia's dead, so what's 2B gonna do? She's going after our girl, and she takes her out. So again, you got to see it right there. Xiza's good for about 2 hits from DPS units, right? She'll typically live through 1, unless it's just like a hyper carry Omega super build. Made all those words up. But she can be exposed when left without a tank. Dwayne died early in that fight. He's not as good of a tank as Mont, and we kind of didn't build him tanky, and Xiza was left out to dry. So that is a weakness of hers. She doesn't have 100% hit, and she really needs somebody soaking the attacks up for her. Let's do one more fight in a group that I think is probably her strongest group. Okay, this is what I call just like a standard team comp. It's a tank, it's a healer, and it's a DPS. Our DPS is Xiza, and it's a Xiza video, so can Xiza be the solo carry in a group? I think she can, but who do you fight with this group? That's a good question. You want to put Xiza across from people she can one-punch, and then you want your Mont being far away from her to draw the enemy to him. Now, we're running a very anti-slash Mont, so we're going to find a team with a lot of slash damage, and we're going to hope that Yuna and Mont can sustain through the enemy, while Xiza finds 3 people and one-punches them. What are the dangers? The dangers are if the enemy somehow just can't get in range of Mont, and they aggro onto Xiza. You can see she's really fast, so she's going to expose herself to the enemy. We are running Shikuchi on Mont to give him that one more move to try and help him get into range, but sometimes it's just not enough, and he's too close to her. Their AoEs end up hitting her, and she dies. Now, Gilgamesh moving forward right here, Xiza probably about to take him down. Here it is. Debilitating Fist, almost 10,000 damage. Gilgamesh out of the fight. But here we go. Mont in range of Xiza, and then 2B, because she's such a troll, warps over there. Now, King Mont goes, stands next to her, and now 2B is going to kill Xiza. Like, I'm just telling you that's what's going to happen. It's so frustrating. Oh, we got lucky. She was actually in range of Mont. It is so frustrating how she will just, your DPSs will get targeted sometimes. But we got lucky, and boom, the one punch from Xiza onto King Mont. Now, what can we do against, like, super god unit 2B? Well, Yuna has 100% hit attack, so she's going to drop one. But wouldn't it be cool to see the accuracy we put on Xiza actually pay off and let her hit 2B? We're not going to get to because Mont took care of it for us. Fine. That was a good win against a standard team like what we were running that was running what many consider a higher tier character in 2B than Xiza is. Okay, let's wrap this video up by talking about like just Xiza overall and then putting a bow on things. Alright, let's wrap it up by answering the question, is it worth taking Xiza to 120? I went ahead and put the stats on the screen from 99 to 120, show you the additional gains that you get there, but that's not the whole story, right? In fact, that's barely even part of the story. Is it worth doing? Okay, here's the answer. If you love Xiza, this makes her usable. In PvP before this, she didn't even have like a signature DPS move to do. She was kind of a joke. With her 120, she gets Debilitating Fist. You just got to see firsthand the kind of work that Debilitating Fist can do. So if you want to use Xiza, this lets you do it. Now, is she as good as like 2B, Titus, or in these newer 120 units? No, she's not. But if you like the character, if she's a character that you've put a lot of work into and you just feel attached to her, she's very good. She can do the work. She can go beat Mont right now. But how long does that last? How long is her ability to like one punch tanks going to trump the fact that she just dies to 2 hits? Like, yes, I know you can build her evasion, and people are out there right now are going to be like, but Auronnj, you didn't try the evasion build. You're right, because if you build her evasion, you need to go all into evasion, and your damage falls off. If she's not one-punching things, I don't know what her point is. I'll just run 2B. 2B can be an evasion unit who also goes and annihilates things for you. You got to see a little bit of that in the video too, and you've all fought 2B. I don't want her to be 2B. I want her to be Xiza, one-punch woman, and that's my verdict. Like, that's my takeaway. It's really fun to play a unit that can hit tanks for 12,000 damage, or like 9,500 if they're well built. That's cool. So, okay, that's what I got. I feel like I'm rambling at this point. You got to see what she can do. In my opinion, if you want to play this unit, her 120 does make her viable, just not as good as the current new units. But of course, that's how it's going to be. The newer units always seem to be stronger than the older ones. And that's my take. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please click that like button, subscribe to the channel for more War of the Visions content, and I will see y'all next time. Later.